I looked at my phone, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. I had stumbled upon an intriguing post on Craigslist titled, "Horror Stories Gone Wrong, Seeking Brave Participants." It promised a unique experience for those willing to step into the darkness, and as someone who thrived on adrenaline and had a fondness for the macabre, I couldn't resist. Little did I know that this decision would plunge me into a nightmare unlike anything I had ever imagined. The instructions in the post were simple. Meet at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town at midnight. It was an eerie setting, surrounded by dense woods that whispered secrets in the night. As I approached the crumbling structure, an overwhelming sense of foreboding washed over me. Ignoring my instincts, I pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The air was stale, suffocating, and a dim flickering light barely illuminated the room. Several others had gathered, their faces a mixture of curiosity and nervous anticipation. A man emerged from the shadows, introducing himself as Victor, our guide through this macabre journey. He had an uncanny aura about him, as if he had traversed the realms of horror himself. Victor explained the rules. We were to recount our scariest personal experiences, while he recreated each tale in the form of an immersive, interactive horror story. He assured us that the fear would be amplified, but we would ultimately be safe. A chill ran down my spine, but my curiosity overruled my trepidation. The first participant, a woman named Emily, began to share her tale. Her voice quivered as she described a night spent alone in an old Victorian house, tormented by inexplicable whispers and ghostly apparitions. Victor absorbed every detail, transforming her story into a haunting nightmare unfolding before our eyes. As Emily's story reached its climax, the warehouse transformed. The walls seemed to shift, revealing an eerie replica of the haunted Victorian house. The air grew frigid, and the sounds of disembodied whispers echoed through the halls. I could hardly believe my eyes. This was more than just smoke and mirrors. It was as if we had stepped into an alternate reality. One by one, each participant shared their stories. The horrors they described manifested before us, meticulously crafted by Victor's twisted imagination. We found ourselves trapped in a labyrinth of nightmares, tormented by our deepest fears brought to life. Reality blurred with fiction, and the line between terror and sanity began to disintegrate. As the night wore on, it became clear that something was amiss. The terror escalated beyond what anyone could have anticipated. Participants disappeared, swallowed by the shadows, never to be seen again. Panic rippled through the remaining survivors as we desperately sought a way out. I stumbled upon a hidden room, illuminated only by a single flickering bulb. Inside, I discovered a wall covered in photographs, our faces circled in red. It dawned on me that this wasn't a mere performance. It was a twisted experiment with our lives as the stakes. The realization was paralyzing. Time seemed to warp in that forsaken place, but I knew I had to fight for survival. I gathered the remaining survivors, and together we resolved to confront Victor. We navigated the labyrinth, evading the horrors that lurked in every corner. Finally, we reached the heart of the warehouse where Victor awaited us, a maniacal grin on his face. He reveled in our fear, relishing the terror he had crafted. But we refused to be mere pawns in his sick game. With every ounce of courage, we fought back, disorienting Victor with unexpected ferocity. In the chaos that ensued, I managed to grab a nearby tool and struck him, incapacitating him momentarily. With our tormentor temporarily subdued, we raced through the labyrinth, desperately searching for an exit. Finally, we burst through the warehouse doors, gasping for breath as we embraced the sweet kiss of freedom. Months have passed since that nightmarish ordeal. The experience haunts me still, the memories etched deep within my soul. I often wonder if Victor's reign of terror continues, preying upon unsuspecting souls seeking thrill and danger. But one thing is certain, I will never be the same. The line between reality and horror has blurred irreversibly, and the scars on my psyche serve as a chilling reminder of the darkness that lies within us all. I peered at the Craigslist ad with both curiosity and unease. It was titled, "Craigslist Horror Stories, Uncover the Secrets of the Haunted Circus." A shiver ran down my spine as I read further, enticed by the promise of an unforgettable and terrifying experience. The ad called for participants willing to delve into the darkness of a long-abandoned circus grounds at midnight. Against my better judgment, I clicked the reply button. A few days later, I found myself driving down a desolate road, the moonlight guiding my way. The circus grounds appeared before me, a once vibrant place now decayed and forgotten. A sense of foreboding clung to the air as I approached the main tent. My heart pounded in my chest, a mixture of excitement and trepidation. A group of strangers, all eager for a twisted thrill, had gathered by the entrance. The organizer, a man named Mr. Jenkins, greeted us with a sinister smile. He wore a tattered top hat and his eyes gleamed with a macabre intensity. "Welcome to the haunted circus," he said, his voice carrying an unnatural cadence. The tent's interior was dimly lit, the smell of mildew hanging heavy in the air. Rows of empty seats loomed before us, their silence unnerving. Mr. Jenkins beckoned us closer, explaining that we would each share a personal tale of horror, while he transformed the circus around us into a nightmarish realm. With a mixture of excitement and apprehension, I volunteered to go first. I began recounting a childhood encounter with a mysterious clown that haunted my dreams. Its grotesque features, painted smile, and cold, soulless eyes had left an indelible mark on my psyche. As I spoke, Mr. Jenkins absorbed every word, a twisted grin playing across his face. As the tale reached its climax, the tent underwent a horrifying metamorphosis. The air grew thick with a malevolent energy, and the walls appeared to bleed as sinister images of clowns emerged. The once empty seats were now filled with twisted, grinning figures, their laughter echoing in the shadows. I was plunged into a labyrinthine nightmare, chased by grotesque clowns with razor-sharp teeth and jagged claws. The boundary between reality and my deepest fears blurred, leaving me uncertain if I would ever escape this waking terror. One by one, the other participants shared their stories, and each time the horrors intensified. Some were tormented by clowns lurking in the shadows, while others faced their darkest phobias personified in clown form. Panic gripped us all as we realized that Mr. Jenkins had tapped into a wellspring of terror that surpassed our worst nightmares. Desperate for an exit, I pleaded with Mr. Jenkins to release us from this macabre spectacle. But his laughter only grew louder, his eyes gleaming with sadistic delight. It was then that I realized he was no mere guide but a master orchestrator of fear, reveling in our torment. Driven by survival instinct, we banded together, determined to find a way out of this twisted nightmare. We navigated through a maze of haunted funhouses, tightropes suspended above an abyss, and halls filled with grotesque mirrors that distorted our reflections. The clowns pursued us relentlessly, their laughter ringing in our ears. Finally, we stumbled upon a hidden room, adorned with faded circus posters. Among them was a portrait of Mr. Jenkins, his painted face mocking us. It became apparent that we were not the first victims of his sadistic games. We had unknowingly become part of his deranged legacy. In a final act of desperation, we discovered a hidden lever that triggered a mechanism, collapsing the tent around us. Amidst the chaos, we emerged into the cold night air, gasping for breath and clutching onto our sanity. Days turned into weeks, and the horrors of that cursed circus still haunt my dreams. The memory of the menacing clowns, Mr. Jenkins's malevolent grin, and the soul-crushing laughter lingers in my mind. I often wonder if others will stumble upon that dreadful Craigslist ad, oblivious to the true horrors that await them. The circus may have fallen, but the nightmares it spawned will forever remain etched in our souls.